Alright, so we're going to be talking about Lunafrosts. These are like extra effects for your gear. So if you have a look at my staff here, above my Luna gems, you'll see magic skill damage plus 3%. That's the Lunafrost. There's like specific effects that go on specific slots. So for example, this frost here, this is only for gloves. To put them on, you'll just right click your frost and then you'll just put in the appropriate piece of gear. And then if you've already got an effect already on there and you want to change it, it'll just get overridden and it'll just change. Mostly there's like best in slot frosts for each class. There isn't really a lot of diversity. They're pretty much the same, so it's not too complicated. First, we're going to talk about Lunafrosts that can go in all sets of gear. This is mostly what you'll use in your Haram. And then we'll talk about crafted Lunafrosts, then library ones, and we'll touch on Aeronor at the end. Most of your Lunafrosts, they're going to come from these crates, the Princess, the Queens, and the Ancestral crates. So as you open these up, you get a bunch of goodies, and you'll get these sealed honor-bound frosts, these blue honor-bound frosts, and these flawless ones. So mostly you're going to want these arcane honor-bound ones. These blue ones here, they've got the same pool of stats, or the same pool of frost that can come out of them. They're just a lesser value. So if you're like missing a particular frost on one of your sets of gear, you can open up these blue ones to try and get the one for that slot, because you won't get these arcane ones. You won't get as many from the crates. Now these flawless ones, these are like older Lunafrosts. There are some still here that are quite good, so you're gonna open these up for a couple of things. Now the other way you can get these is if you've got if you don't want to grind a whole bunch, you can buy Lunarite off the auction house. You can also craft it, and you get 30 of this Lunarite, and you can combine it into a random one of these. It seems like the chances of getting these are about the same as from the crates. So you'll get a lot of these flawless ones and a lot of these blue honor-bound ones, but you won't get too many of the arcane honor ones. Now, when you open these up, you're going to end up with a whole bunch of stuff in your inventory. You're going to have tons of extra frost that you're not going to use. So what you'll do is you'll then just use an even stone and you're just going to break them down. When you have a big stack of them, you can shift right click your even stone and you can break a whole stack down at once. Now we'll go over the ones that you're going to want on your Haram gear. So the helm is the most complicated, and the stats you get aren't really super great, so it's kind of like whatever. If you're a mage or a healer, you're going to go for cast time reduction or cast delay when hit minus 30%. For every other class, you've got two options. You can go for stealth detection, which gives like a little bit of a bigger radius of your stealth detection. Stealth detection is actually in the blue honor-bound one. That's the only one that's in here that's not in the arcane ones. The last option for your helm is these crafted Lunafrosts, and they'll give you like plus like 5 to 7 like intelligence or stamina or agility or whatever stat you choose. We'll talk about those a little bit later. For your chest, you're going to want minus 3% damage reduction. That's the best option for that, hands down. For your belt and the braces, you're going to want those crafted ones I was talking about for your helm. For gloves, you want crit damage or crit heal. If you're running a defense pen build, you're going to do crit rate, and those come out of the flawless Lunafrosts here. For pants and feet, you're going to want to get resilience early game, and then later on you're going to swap that out for toughness as you get more resilience on your other stats. If you don't PvP a lot, there's also a move speed Luna gem for your feet. That'll give you plus 5 move speed. This is really good for if you're doing like PvE grind or speedrunning dungeons, or you just life skilling and you just want to run around a little bit quicker. For your weapons, you're going to get percentage skill damage increase. For melee healers and mages, you're going to get your skill damage on your main hands and your off hands. For range, you're going to get skill damage on your bow. You can't get range skill damage on your main hand or off hand. One hand weapons, that'll give a plus 2% skill damage increase, so you can put that on your main hand and your off hand if you're dual wielding. If you're a two-hander, you'll get a plus 3% skill damage increase. So for shield, usually you'll go for, you've got one that gives a little bit of physical defense. That one comes in the flawless ones. If you're a healer, you can use the percent healing increase. That can go on your club and your shield. Other Lunafrosts to talk about, you've got this one here, which is holding breath plus 30 seconds. That one you can put on your helm if you have nothing, like if there's nothing else, if you don't want like the stealth detection. You can chuck that on, or you can put this on like a diving helmet or something. You've also got this smooth speed plus 12%. This is what's going to go on your swim fins. This one's also kind of niche, plus 12% aggro. So if you're tanking PvE bosses and stuff, this can be a little bit helpful to keep aggro. Alright, so this is your first crafted frost that you can put in. They call it a lunar drop, so there's like kind of different names for all these things. These you'll craft, so you'll craft these grand ones, and then you'll craft these up. You'll use the grand ones and then some more lunarite and this Heat of Eternal Summer. These you get from dungeons. There are different types, so there's ones for each class. So we crafted some Gale ones, so it's like an RNG chance to get like any of these. There are these ones which are like purely agility, which these are the ones that you kind of want. So it can give plus 5, plus 6, plus 7. Or it can roll like these ones here are 5 agility and 2 of like another stat. And then these ones are 5 and 1 of another stat. And then these ones are 3 and 2 other stats. Don't worry too much about having the perfect ones for these. So let's say you get like a perfect radiant one. That's good, chuck that in. If you get the beguiling or the blazing, that's awesome. But if you don't, if you get like a random beguiling or a random blazing one, you can put that in anyway. Like that's not a big deal. It's not worth worrying too much about just that extra 1 agility or extra 2 agility. So for your cloak, you're gonna craft these perfect Gale Lunafrosts. You can buy them in the auction house as well. People will craft these and sell these. What these do is they'll stack up your main stat over, like, every time you do a hit, they'll stack up and you'll get plus 20 like agility or whatever your stat is. So for your underwear, you're gonna put in these secret lunar tiers. These will give you plus 15 of your main stat. There's one for each stat. You can also do the crafted lunar drops as a placeholder until you have the materials to craft these. For your costume, you've got these gods and hero lunar stones. So these are effects that stack up over time. The 2 main ones you'll go for are the minus received damage that stacks up, and then the plus crit rate. For your accessories and your instrument, you're gonna use these ones here. So these are divided into 2 categories. There's the distorted and then the indomitable, and then they're divided again into your class type. So this one here, so it's got physical defense and melee attack. So all these indomitable ones, these are all physical defense, and then they've got 1 for each class. So you've got like magic attack, heal power, and all that. The distorted ones, these ones give magic defense, and the same, there's 1 for each class. If you're in plate, you're going to go for magic defense. If you're in cloth, you're going to go for physical defense. If you're in leather, you can pick or choose depending on what you find that you need. So these are kind of expensive to craft, so you can worry about these like later on. Alright, so for library armor has like another option you can do, as well as the ones we've already talked about. So if you do Nori 45 and Nori 50, you get these abyssal lunar shards, and when I think you get 5 of them, you can bind them and you'll get a random abyssal lunar shard. So that's these ones here. There's one for each class type. And if it's the one that you don't want, you can then break it down and you'll get two of the shards back. So these all fit on any library piece, or any of your armors. And they each give like plus 15 attack or plus 15 heal power. And yeah, there's one for each class. And once you have, like if you have 3 of them in your gear, you'll get a set bonus, which will be plus 5 crit. If you have 5 of them in, you'll get a little bit of death pen. Healers will get a plus 4% cast time. So these Lunafrosts, this is the reason why people will run, if they're running 3-piece lib, like melee and ranged, if they're running 3-piece lib, they'll run a helm. And that's so you can get the 5% crit bonus from having the 3 frosts in there. And the reason why they go for a helm is because your helm doesn't have any other good options, really. Like the options are kind of meh. And you'll do braces and belt because the options for that are just main stat. So you can swap that out. So if you're running 5 or 7-piece lib, you might want to think about possibly not putting these frosts in every slot. Some of the other Lunafrosts are probably better than just having plus 15 magic attack or whatnot. I mean, it depends. Like, maybe you want the like glass cannon kind of thing, and like lib sets kind of go towards that. But it might be worth like considering having a bit of defensive stats on there. It's kind of up to you guys, like how you want to play. If you feel like you're getting blown up too much, you want to, and you're in lib and you're all geared out and stuff, and you want a bit more defensive, you can swap them out, and if you don't like it, you can always swap them back. Now, the other thing we've got here, we've got Aeonad Lunafrosts, which no one really uses. Aeonad isn't really viable anymore. But these Aeonor Lunafrosts, so these Lunafrosts are kind of what makes Aeonor so good when you've got a full Aeonor set. When you have these frosts in here and you get the set bonuses, they're really big. Like this one here, for the 7-piece, plus 7% skill damage. If you have 8 frosts in there, there's like another bonus. But then if you're wearing a 2-hander, you'll get plus 4% skill damage. Like, some of these are kind of underwhelming, but some of them are just like really good. Alright, so that's the Lunafrost guide. Hopefully that kind of helps you guys out a little bit. It's like, it's not really that confusing once you like know this stuff, but at the start, like when you're opening these up and you see like all the Lunafrosts in here, you're like, oh, what are all these options? But like really there's like a ton of Lunafrosts, but like at least like for the honor bound ones and stuff, like there's so many you'll get in your bag, but most of them are for like just the specific classes. Like it'll seem kind of overwhelming, but there's not really that many options. If you're ever confused about like what frosts to get, just have a look at the gear score leaderboard and scroll down and find someone with the same class as you and who has the same gear set as you. If you want to have a look at all the different types of frosts that are in the game, you can just come to the item encyclopedia. That's just, if you open up your inventory, it's this button here just sort of in the middle down the bottom. And then in the Luna Gems tab, they're all in here, so you can come in here and scroll through and have a look at them all for yourself if you are curious about if there is any other options that you kind of want to try.